Unmute.
No, the new.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, wow. Just background. No background. How's that? Oh, wait. Now that I think about it, let me move this up here. All right. Can you see it all right?
Yep.
Good. It's gonna be look like you're staring at the camera.
just gonna tip it.
That's- Your own personal day.
Call
Thank you.
to order.
You're in the corner.
We have a quorum, yeah. And everyone have a chance to read and review the minutes from the last month's meeting.
Yeah.
Any changes, or then can we have a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
So moved.
And second, all in favor of accepting the meeting? Aye. Okay, so we maybe start with Scott.
Yep, I mean, obviously not a lot going on in there, but we did. David. We got 5 of 6 of those plates in, and we ran out of time, and we think we get the last one
You
is
good?
on. And then we got the angle to the fender pile installed, and that's done. So we got one more bracket to put in between the pilings and the beam. They're starting probably this end of this week to strip the.
Where's the one that's missing?
It's inside, unfortunately.
On one of the, not on one of the the outers.
Yep.
Not.
There
on-
was 6 altogether, not 5 missing.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we got 5 in, and there's one more, but the little pond, the little boat that we were using was about not to be able to get out because of the crossing, so we just had to quit. And that was less.
You're talking about zincs now?
So,
Plates,
Plates.
you been listening to him?
No, I'm writing down.
The plates that are holding the pilings to the decking,
Oh,
No,
okay.
to the beams.
to the beams, right.
Okay.
The anodes are all in, I told you that, and that went really well. That's really the only thing going on right now.
well, you began to say that they're going to start.
No, the roof on the harbor master shack, probably this week. Get that stripped and redone. We got 2 students working part-time. From 10. Working out,
Great.
they were looking for one 20-hour part-time person and nobody applied, and 2 students said they'd do it and do it 10 each, and so it's working out.
Anything further?
Nope.
Any questions for the harbor map? Derek, you said you had some conversation with UDI?
Yeah, I asked for an update. So they've talked to that company that they use for the graphical stuff or whatever, and so they're working on those changes for us with the tide levels of the different years, and I believe the revised little plan, and then they will be, I think, ready for another draft, or maybe it will be its final if everything's good by mid-December, so we should have it maybe.
These are the different tide levels, so we wanted to split out
And the different changes we made in some of the language,
from the last meeting.
and right, and some of the graphical reference stuff in there.
And when did they say they want to have that done?
They think they'll have it done by mid-December. They'll have everything right, so we'll almost think it's a final, and then if I remember correctly, we're supposed to have one more public or to present, but I gotta look back at it just to make sure. I'm looking it up right now, but I'm using that as the interpreter machine, or whatever you call it there. So.
Any questions regarding GEI for Derek? So we don't have a great deal on the agenda other than that. Any update from MMA?
Just making progress, we're forging ahead, we're getting closer to back on the original schedule. That will make up all the time lost in the beginning, but, it's going well. They're into a rhythm on the pile driving. They're almost done pile driving for the phase one pilings. They're not all done drilling or socketing yet. We've got almost driven.
So where are those really tall vertical ones? Is that where the caisson is?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And that really high upper deck that shows out there is what they call false work. And the forms for the pier deck are suspended from that. So they can, I don't know, it'll be an interesting process to watch, but somehow they suspend those forms so they have a place to work from and can do that pour in sections. So all of that stuff is temporary.
The forms are for concrete. Is that
Yes.
what they've been building out
Yeah.
there? Nice.
At Bill's suggestion, we've been in discussion with a couple of researchers about looking to acquire data about wave action at the town dock. And there is some potential for sensors that can be deployed in front of the town dock space, either on our town moorings for the winter. Or if we were to talk to any of the private owners, placing it on one of the private owners a little closer to the town dock might be an option as
Well,
well.
I have one right in front of it.
Well, so,
You're not bad, so I mean, you can handle that easily.
yeah, so there's potential that we could get a sensor out in the next month that would record data through a certain pound amount winter. It's coming from Wilderness, I think they got wave data. Yes, out there, and they're retrieving it shortly, and they volunteered potentially
Oh, the same sensor.
same sensor.
Yeah. Yeah, so right in the mouth of
And-
Smith Cove now.
Uh-huh.
And would that stay out for the whole winter?
Well, I haven't figured out the term. The intent is to meet after the Thanksgiving holiday and really discuss the logistics of it and how long. But I think any amount we could acquire would be valuable to us. So we'll continue that discussion and have an update for the next meeting. But it's very positive.
What we'd really like to capture is a winter storm.
Not really.
Well, we've already done it twice. So that's really the only update in terms of, or is it anything to the?
So that's something you want to do for a year round? Get a year round study on that?
No, I think it'll be on the
Just for the
good
winter?
graces of what is available to us.
So what does that mean? I don't know, I'm not familiar with this alternatives company you just mentioned. So
Uh,
there's already something going on in Smith Cove?
outside of the harbor is
Oh,
the wind turbine.
Yes.
That's called Volturnus.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
And so some of the researchers have instrumentation that they may be willing to lend to the town
Oh, I see. Okay, now.
so that we can collect some of this
So
data.
there's stuff actually working? I thought everything was frozen because they.
Well, this is sensor data for waves. So there's
okay.
plenty of data. The wind turbine itself, I know it's been spun up yet. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frozen and don't believe in stuff.
It might be a different.
And so that would give us some details, baseline data. And a little baseline data prior to the completion of the academy as well, new pier, which we may want to have as a reference point to. I don't have any committee members have anything?
I thought you were talking about wave attenuation. Where are we with that one?
I'm still in contact with the SFC Green, but nothing specific. And we're also probably tomorrow, or the next day, gonna try to get some of those free floats. But that won't be for this year. And this is, you gotta be by January of 26 to get one in 27. So,
Any updates regarding any of the grants and funding pieces? Is there any timeline pieces that you could be aware of?
No, I think we're Still waiting for MMA's doc to get done on the CDS. March is when the doc study is supposed to be finalized. Hopefully we'll be done with that by January, you know, but if we're supposed to have that other public forum, which I think we are.
Right.
And that's it. On other note, comprehensive planning implementation informational meeting is tomorrow night at 6:30. And also this Friday at noon time.
Is the MMA.
Nope,
No,
it's Helen Miller's
Birthday.
105th birthday celebration on the town common, and if it's raining, I think it's gonna be here upstairs. If anybody'd like to attend that,
What time?
noon time on Friday.
So, with the comprehensive planning, there a desire to have some input. I mean, we put input through the process.
There's, I think there's 5 different groups. One of them is the harbor and that group, and then there's the,
It's housing, land use, so planning board doesn't land use, but
and then there's the any changes to the zoning.
right, yeah, that's what I meant by land use.
Oh,
Zoning, land use.
yeah, and then there's economic development, and another one, there's like 5 groups that are gonna be probably from tomorrow night, but not tomorrow.
In towns that don't have zoning, call it land use, they accept it better
Oh,
than zoning.
so anyhow,
That's right, we say land use, so.
You're participating.
yeah. But I don't think you're only gonna allow to be on one of these groups, and I have a personal.
Priorities.
One. Not development now, because I know do you think they can.
Start at 5?
Not
5:30.
Yeah.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to hear that.
Welcome, Bill.
Hey,
Do you have anything that you want? Any new business that you may have wish for discussion?
did you guys talk about the oceanographers that we've been communicating with?
Yeah.
And so we hope that, so it's gonna take some money, right?
Potentially not.
Okay. They were talking about renting these things, I guess.
Well, that's one avenue. And then most recently, the researcher at with the wind turbine has said that they have equipment that they
Oh, yeah, so,
and there was no cost associated with that last communication.
okay.
So we have yet to understand the full scope of it.
We need a mooring to place these things at. They have,
Yeah, and so the moorings, of course, the town has moorings and Scott has a mooring that's present right in front of the town dock
Okay.
sort of space. So
and Benta could also be talking to using hers.
and so I think
Does this thing get, would we replace whoever's ball with this thing probably? So you need,
I don't know, so I've asked when we meet to understand what
Figure
it
that
means
out.
for a mooring and, whether they can be deployed by a small boat or if they need divers or whatever, but
right.
I don't know any of that, so.
The current one in Smith Cove is on probably a 175-pound anchor, and it's a mid-water suspended sensor. It does have a mooring ball on the top. That one happens to be yellow and odd shaped, but and really all I have to do to gather the data is capture the ball, take the slack out and get the top of the sensor above the water. They open a hatch up, take it out, download it in a second and stuff it back in and it goes again. So that's the one that Leanne Whitney is working with. And then next year from the University of Maine has an array of sensors out by Baltarnas that are wave recording along the sensors that are on the platform.
That's who emailed me, I think. Absolutely.
What's the gizmo in Smith Cove measuring, do you know?
Again, it's wave data.
Is it?
Current.
Really? Okay. Well, why don't you just drag it over here?
Oh, dang.
where in Smith Cove is it?
It's right off of Henry Point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of inside Henry's Point a little bit. So,
So it's in there for a while, right?
yep.
Yeah, I think I saw it out there.
On
Yeah.
Henry Point?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
what data is on that could be useful to us.
Not sure how available it would be, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
Fisher, Dr. Fisher, is that his name? No. Anyway. So we're still chasing some of that,
Okay,
but it's becoming closer to an opportunity.
see if we can get this thing deployed before May, huh?
If there's things that MMA can do as far as deployment or moving or coordinating with the current info gathering technology, we're happy to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I bet you one of those cranes will probably reach in the morning we need to get out.
Well, I don't have anything further other than a discussion when the next meeting is to occur.
Okay, just a comment that's come up, in our last two weekly meetings with the contractors, phase one is scheduled to end around hopefully mid. Immediately following that, they're gonna start demolition of the existing pier for replacement. So we're looking at about probably a 6 to 7 month period when we won't have access to the outer pier, the training ship when it returns in July, the float system where we'll be keeping our vessels. We're looking at various methods of moving people back and forth out there because there's watch standards, there's students taking courses, but there's a fair amount of traffic. We've tried to get a handle on how many people move a day and decided that it's obviously going to be too much for all boat transportation as far as launching people across. So there may become a time when MMA makes the ask to take over in September one of the town floats on the end so we can keep a boat there for access. We talked with Mr. Arnson, we can hang boats on his floats, but he doesn't want pedestrian traffic across the property. But if we need tie-up space, we have it down there, and the yacht club has agreed to leave their equipment in a little bit longer if we need, again, a place to hang boats. But it's going to be a tough period of time for us to get done what we need to get done just because of the access issue. So I don't know where that ties in with the town, but when we get a better picture of it, I'll be glad to share that. But right now, we're talking, on 140-foot span gangway that would go from the traveler slip to the mooring island that's out there now, to get us to that float system and a float system that we could potentially walk across. It might be easier for the construction team to move when they need shuffle barges. So it's in the planning phase, but I'm not sure what it's going to look like. But just to give you an idea of what's going on there. Nothing written in stone yet. We're just trying to figure it
Yeah,
out.
so when you settle on that and have some potential sort of time frame and structure to it, then perhaps you can bring some of that to the community. Yeah. Happy to.
$3 a foot, right?
Take the whole length of it.
Be round off there.
Thank you, Dana. Anyone else have? So then, in terms of scheduling the next meeting, we are expected to have a DEI report potentially in mid-December. And depending on when that time frame is, then there's the holiday period. And in the past, we have not had, I guess we've taken a break from a December meeting, though in the past, we've also had December meetings when we are having community engagement with MMA. So
The town's gonna officially accept this DEI report?
no, this is still a draft review
Right,
that is coming to us.
Okay.
but they want a quick turnover on it
Well,
though.
they probably want to get paid, right?
Well, so does that need to be at a public meeting or can that be shared as a draft through email?
I think I think they can get us draft an email, and if somebody has huge problems with it, then we can call
What's
just
that?
a rush meeting, to say, okay, this is, or something like that. Yeah,
Basically, it seems like the select board would want to hear what we think.
You know, we put it on the agenda when you're ready to do that, and that way. people-
Yeah,
Whole meeting.
I'm saying I want to get it to like the harbor committee, they all review it. And then we'll present it to the select board and say, okay, everybody was okay, or we'll call a special harbor committee if there's a serious issue with it, if they missed something.
So
And then I think January have that public forum, I think we're still supposed to have to present the overall plan of the findings.
well, I would suggest then maybe scheduling a meeting for early January. With the potential of needing to meet the 18th of December.
Probably, if we have a report in December. And we're not having a meeting, how are we gonna get that out
Email.
to each other and maybe, you know, to a point where you can schedule it in January.
Probably send it to Xander and I, and then we'll read if anybody has actual comments, and then we'll make that judgment call whether to call that emergency meeting there on the 18th. If it isn't okay, then I'll just call it for first meeting in
How many Januaries again? I mean, will we get copies of it in mid-December? No?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh,
That's what it sounds.
yeah, she's supposed to be done by mid-December, she should have what should be the final draft. If they got all the changes and of the depictions of the tide levels for those, every 25 years. And the language on the suggested things that say at certain periods we assess. We determine whether or not, you know, we need to do these things based on, you know, what we see at that time. And then, also the layout is different also for the one that we developed after the fact, and then I think they have another one that shows something. That's what we'll have to look at.
So
I think
we could schedule that first week and full week of January. So is there something scheduled for the 6th already? That at the Tuesday the 6th?
We don't have a calendar yet on Tuesday, so
Okay.
I'm assuming if anything's gonna meet then, it's probably gonna be a comp plan type of committee, one of those 5 committees.
Uh-huh.
But, right now it's open. We don't have a calendar yet for it.
Well, that we could firm up our plan to
Right,
meet on
you'll
the
be
6th.
there.
And then if we need to meet earlier, the idea would be later in that week of the midweek of December, so the 18th, which is a Thursday.
That's presuming that we will have the report by then.
Right.
Right.
Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
I love it.
Sounds good.
So January 6th, what time? is it?
January 6th.
I have a regular harbor committee meeting.
Yep.
5 o'clock.
5:15?
5 o'clock.
What's the?
That's so he makes it here on time.
The bike ride.
Went by the freaking agenda, okay?
Yeah, 5:50. The email, I think, said 5.
Agenda said 5:30.
You did?
I had it in the calendar as 5, so yeah.
No, Stu asked me about that and she corrected the agenda.
I was gonna say, cause at first I thought it was at 4:30, cause I wanted to get out of
Okay.
it.
She didn't correct the one I got.
Oh, it's 5.
Okay, so is there any further business? Then motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor? Yay.
All right.
Thank you.
10-minute meeting, not bad.
So January.